at the office, Cleveland's home for sports talk that never clocks out. From the latest headlines to heated debates, we're diving into everything sports. It's your hosts, Noah and Erik.
Cleveland!
Hey everybody, welcome into the office, the show where we talk all things sports. I'm your host Erik, joined by my co-host Noah, and you can join us at the office as well. Send us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, or X, or you can call or text the show at 216-260-3433. That's 216-260-3433. No John once again. He was is on vacation this week. But Noah, we will see him real soon because we have a live show coming up.
Yeah, we do. We do, in fact, have a live show coming up, and I'm excited for it. For those who don't know, it's called Full Count, Full Steins. Erik, tell them a little bit more if you so choose.
Yeah, so we'll be at Hofbrau House on August 2nd. We're going to be talking pregame Guardians. We're going to be having some fun drinking. You want to do a shot ski with us? Sure, why not? Let's do it. We'll be wearing some fresh merch, which you see here. I already have on, a little sneak peek. It should be a real good time, though. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well, brother. Shout out MK over at Hofbrauhaus for helping us put this all together, helping us promote the event, and helping us get the name of At the Office out there through and through.
Yeah, she's legit for sure. Noah, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good, man. The Guardians swept the Orioles. Shane Bieber looked good in his first rehab start, all things considered, from what I heard from my sources. And my sources are my uncle and my cousin who were at the game, as well as some
Okay.
of my other friends that were at the game. He only pitched 3 innings, but he looked good. So I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling good about guards ball right now in general. I'm wearing my favorite color, so life's good there too. How are you, man?
I'm good. I can't really complain. This weather has been beautiful. Storms here and there, but I've gotten out on the golf course with you, in fact. Wink, wink. We'll debut that video soon. I got to do a little editing. Um, I'm sorry, buddy. There's not enough movie magic in the world to make you better at golf. So,
Oh, the links are not for me, brother. They have never been for me. I went to hang out with you and some of the other work from my old job, your current job, and
that baby.
yeah, that'll be a Happy Gilmore level watch in terms of my golf talent, to say the very least.
It was a good time. Spoiler alert, though, he does not hit it as far as Happy Gilmore. Uh, you know what? Let's talk some sports. You down?
Yeah, of course I'm down. I'm always down to talk a little Cleveland sports, man.
All right, perfect. Because once again, there's a lot going on in the Cleveland sports scene. So let's just dive right in and start where we always start, which is with 30-second takes, if I could get it out. The Browns have a new helmet. Unveiled today for the first time, a brown helmet. Sounds a bit blasphemous saying it out loud because there aren't too many iconic Browns looks, right? So changing from that orange helmet that we know and love, it's a pretty big leap. Noah, show us this launch and give me your take. I think let me just start real quick and we'll put 30 seconds up for you. But I think there's only one thing that can be said after that. Okay. Like, I hadn't seen that video before you just put that up there. That's the first time I saw it. Damn, that was cool.
So I'm glad you didn't see that video because I think that is the best piece of media that we've gotten out of this whole release. You can hate on it. You could say it looks like poop, like all the Steelers fans are saying after they dropped that abysmal uniform the day
Right.
before. I don't even want to hear it from them right now. This uniform is sleek. This uniform looks good. I've been missing the new version of the color rushes on the Browns field for a while. So the fact that we're wearing them this year, 3 games, I'm really excited. I'm feeling good about this uniform. The helmet looks good. It ties in all together. 2 thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I mean, throw 30 seconds up for me. I don't think I really have much to change in what you said. It looks great. I think I would have rather seen, again, maybe a blasphemous take, but I really like the orange jerseys. I think that would look so cool with that brown helmet, or at least some orange stripes. But all in all, pretty good what they did. Again, agree with you on the Steelers take. Aaron Rodgers has to go home to Green Bay, home his old team, and play in that terrible outfit. It's like seeing your ex and just having rolled out of bed, like you didn't get ready or anything. So you're right; they can't talk shit. Yeah, a 12-year-old that's also high. It was born to a crack mother or something. Because
That's
Tim, you're
crazy.
absolutely right.
That is a
it's awful.
crazy way to start off the podcast. Eric, we are 6 minutes, 7 minutes in, and you already dropped a crack mother. That's insane.
I said crack baby to be fair.
Crack baby, regardless. Yeah, just those Steelers uniforms, man.
It's
I'm glad we got to hit on them real quick during the show because honestly, I don't mind the top, but the khaki pants, just throw that whole thing in the trash for me. Like, try again next year. It's a horrible alternate.
the
Basura.
The only part of it that was okay, and I don't like it because I hate the Steelers, but the helmet wasn't terrible. But for the most part, yeah, top to bottom bad. By the way, with the Browns release, though, there was one more aspect of this that is frankly hilarious. The way they presented this, well, let's just say it didn't quite go to plan. All right. So first, let me start by saying the Cleveland Browns social media team and their production team, they're doing a great job. The value of these, yes, Tim, Dude Wipes is the sponsor. And that actually is a good segue because I think this was completely done on purpose. So if what you noticed in that last video, their social media content person, I'm not sure of his name, he's trying to get footage of this unveiling and he's walking around. It's out on a barge in the middle, or a island, fake island kind of thing in the middle of Lake Erie, and he falls into the water. But there's another angle of this. Noah, do you have the other angle?
I don't have the other angle, but I know where the other angle came from, and you should go look at it because it's just as funny from the other angle as it is in the zoomed up, zoomed out KYC clip that we pulled. A lot of the Cleveland Browns influencer team, if you didn't know that's a thing, Eric, were there. So, of course, the phones were out, the cameras were out, the cameras were doing things, and yeah, that's how it came to be, unfortunately.
Let me just I guess I can't do it live. This is where we need a producer. But the other angle is interesting, and I think you should see it because I got to tell you, I think this is a setup.
Why do you think it's a setup, E?
Yeah, let me explain my thoughts. So when I first saw it, it looks like a guy just trying to get some footage. He falls into the lake, right? Harmless enough, kind of goes around with the hapless Browns theme, Cleveland in general, like, okay, whatever. It gets picked up immediately, as I think we all knew it would. Sports Illustrated's putting it on Instagram. We have, I mean, literally everywhere. We have Barstool, KFC Barstool putting it out there and doing a whole video on it. This thing blew up. And when you look at the other angle, nothing really adds up. I'll walk you through it. His step looks weird, first of all. He takes this giant, weird-looking step and then falls into the water. It just didn't look right. But you know what? You're stepping into air. It probably wouldn't look right. But the reaction of everyone else on that little barge, that's what was telling for me. You had a couple other mascots. They did mascots things like, oh my God, he fell in. but then you have like 3 people that are pulling this thing off actively. They don't move. Eventually, the one mascot, I wanted to say Moondog, but that's the Cavs. He throws in like a life preserver. This thing looks set up, and the reason I think it was set up, Dude Wipes is getting so much free promotion out of this. It's not even funny because not only did they have the unveiling, which Browns fans care about, but now they're everywhere nationally because of this accident. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, and if you could just give me one more second, I actually have the video up so we could show the people as well. I got it to go through, so you're welcome, E. I'll play producer. Don't you worry. Don't you fret. I
I
am here for
appreciate it.
you.
I'll keep talking while I'll keep glamping.
I'm there. Let's
Oh,
play it.
you
You
got
ready
it?
to
All
let
right,
it
let's
roll?
do it.
The step is so funny to me because it looks like I don't believe your conspiracy theory for a minute. First of all, let me get to that point.
Hold
I
on,
think
play
the
it one
dude
more
really.
time.
Do you want?
Because
Oh,
I've watched
okay.
this like 8 times. Let it keep playing a minute.
I'll let it play on loop and mute it.
Yeah, there we go. Like the reaction of everyone else, nobody moves. And maybe that would be a natural reaction because you're like, oh shit. But they don't even, like, none of it.
Is he
No
wearing a
one,
Kenny Pickett jersey?
it's a number 8.
Who is number 8? Elijah Moore?
Um,
Regardless, I don't think it's a setup by any means whatsoever.
yeah, Kenny
I
Pickett.
It is Pickett. That's what I thought. It's funny that it happened because it's the most Cleveland Browns thing to happen, but and it's great publicity. I don't know if you saw on X, Eric, Dude Wipes was reposting the hell out of it, as they should, of course. It's free publicity.
That's
It's
what
been
I'm saying.
everywhere and then some.
Blowing up. Dude Wipes are everywhere. They're hitting their target market, which is men. I don't know. As somebody that works in marketing, there was an agency back in the day called Crisp and Porter, based out of Miami. They did stunts like this all the time to try to get attention that felt real. I'm just not buying it. I don't know.
Yeah, I see. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, I will put that out there. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that it was like a publicity stunt of some sort. The step to me, how he like full blown steps down like he's expecting there to be another like spot to step on, makes me think it wasn't staged. But the publicity is so good. I love that this is what we're talking about. The Browns have a new uniform. Training camp started today. How are we going to start our show, Eric? Let's talk about the guy that fell in Lake Erie. And of course, it's making the Cleveland Browns look like the laughing stock once again. It's
Yeah,
just whatever.
I guess that's the only point of it where I'd say, no, maybe this really was an accident because I don't think the Browns want to look stupid on purpose. Um, But I put myself in that position. I mean, accidents, I'm looking at it again off screen. Accidents can happen to anybody, but I feel like when you're on the edge, I mean, he's already standing on the edge pretty well. You're on the edge of this vessel, whether you're getting content or not. You're pretty well aware of where you're stepping so you don't fall into a lake.
Listen, we could go back and forth for a minute here about if it was real, if it was not real. Um, I want to take a moment to appreciate the jerseys and the helmets yet again because I feel like they're going to get a lot of crap because they're all brown and our colors suck and this, that, and the third. I have been in favor of the Browns color palette and the Browns being tried and true to the original brown branding for a very long time now. The fact that they even unveiled a helmet that they've never worn in the franchise history, whether the white ones being like a tie-in to the white leather helmets they wore
46, yeah.
before or not, the fact that this came out and it looks good and they didn't fumble it like that 2013 with the big Cleveland across the chest,
I
again,
like
two
those,
thumbs
but go
up for
on.
me. I do not. They were so ugly. Two thumbs up for me. And this is a great, funny, viral moment. And hopefully it's a footnote to the start of a great season for the Cleveland Browns, despite injuries, despite lawsuits, not lawsuits, those aren't going on yet this year, despite
Well, Deshaun.
cases. Well, no, most of those are closed, is what I more so meant by that. But we won't get into that can of worms again yet.
God. No, I agree with you though. It is a cool change. I'm excited for it. They're going to be debuted in 3 home games this year, so you'll get the chance to see them 3 times. I'm glad. A lot of people were disappointed that we didn't put Brownie the Elf on the helmet. I think that would have been a
No,
mistake.
That would have been no, not with how long you've been have been leaning in to the sticking to the traditional branding and all that. You can't put a sticker on the helmet then. I will say one of the games real quick, and then we can move forward if you want. One of the games that are highlighted for us to wear this browned out uniform is a certain game in December where a certain team in brown and orange plays a certain team that had the #1 overall pick. December, I would think maybe Shador Sanders is starting then, and he was the second most hyped up quarterback this year. And if we're playing the Titans, I mean, Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, hyped up Rookie Bowl, primetime TV, maybe. We'll see. I'll put that one out there as a hot take for today.
All right, I like it. Let's move on because at the office it's sponsored by D&D Meadery. This fine mead is made right here in Northeast Ohio. Derek and Dominic are twin brothers. They have a passion for this. They take their love for winemaking straight from their ancestors in Germany, and they brought this ancient drink back to life for us, one pour at a time. Let me tell you, it's really good. I'm holding up their gold-winning honey wine right now. We've gone through so many bottles of this. It's the real deal. Here's the best part, though.
Truth be told, real quick, this is an actual recorked bottle because me and Bree went through a whole bottle watching Love Island while it was still on. So trust me, this stuff is fan-freaking-tastic. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, I mean, you'd need it to get through the season of Love Island USA. Here's the best part. If you use the code @the-office CLE, you can see it on the screen down there at the bottom. That's @the-office CLE. If you use that code when you order, you'll get an extra 5% off your order. And if you order 2 or more bottles, you'll get this free shot glass. It is not dishwasher safe, as Noah found out. That's why he can't hold his up. Visit dndmeadery.org. You can purchase right there online, or you can find a retail location near you. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. All right, Noah. There have been a lot of rumors swirling about Guardians outfielder Steven Kwan with an injury leading up to the All-Star game, as well as being one of 2 main players off discussed as being on the trade block. There's a lot going on, and that's where I want to jump into it on this edition of Around the Water Cooler. Let's start with the injury first. So he's been dealing with right wrist pain, likely happened from a late May slide where he kind of got caught up under himself. There's been some inflammation. He's gotten several injections to kind of reduce the pain, and he's been playing through that injury. Even at the All-Star break, at the team's encouragement, I might add. Smart move?
Smart move for him to get the injection. Smart move for him to go to the All-Star break. Smart move.
Play through it at the All-Star break.
Yeah, we would complain if we had neither of our guys playing at the All-Star break. People were complaining that Jose didn't play during the All-Star break. So the fact that there was even complaints that Kwan missed 2 or 3 games, 2 of which I think we won, due to a shot he got in his wrist, and now he's come back. We've swept the Orioles. He's looked perfectly fine. He had 3 walks and 2 singles or something in that first game back. Get out of here. We're totally fine. Anybody who was throwing the shade at Kwan for sitting out or getting the injection or going to play the All-Star game and then having to sit out a couple regular season games, you're part of the problem as to why All-Star season in all sports suck now. What do you think, E?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. First of all, to try to mandate that a player who's been playing just fine, as you mentioned, should sit out of an opportunity of something kind of special. I mean, I know we look at it as being a joke these days, but it is an achievement to make the All-Star game. He also had a hell of an All-Star game, forcing it into, call it extras because it's not extra innings. That said, what's frustrating here are the same fans that get mad about the NBA resting its players and the Cavs. They're going the opposite way now with Kwan, saying he should have rested. It's Cleveland sports in a nutshell. You just can't make people happy.
No, you can't make people happy. ever. And you say it's Cleveland sports in a nutshell. I'll stand up for my fellow Clevelanders and say that this is every fandom in a nutshell. It just feels worse because we've been through a lot of stuff. To be upset with Kwan, I
Ah,
think we're both. Go ahead. What?
I disagree a little there. I don't think every city's media takes as negative a light on their sports teams as we do. We had
Have you paid attention to New York media before, Eric?
I'm not talking New York. We've had New York's a beast up on its own, but we've had LeBron James take us to the finals for how many straight years? Was it 4 straight? Won
Whatever.
one of
Yeah.
them. And yet every single storyline coming from a certain reporter that shall remain nameless was negative throughout those seasons. It's I'm not saying it's endemic to us only, but not every city is like this with the negative reporting, Noah.
Then give me an example of a city that isn't like that with negative reporting, because I know you
Seattle,
can't.
San
How?
Francisco,
How do you know that?
Baltimore.
How do you know Baltimore? That is not true. You have
How
not
are you
paid
trying
attention
to
to
you're trying
anything.
to prove a negative? How do you know? I just gave you examples and you go, "How do you know?" Well,
But
how
how
do
do
you
you
know that
know?
they're negative or that they're positive
Because you can hear
or
it in
negative?
national sports talk, and you can hear it when you listen to some of these crossover talks between Cleveland media, whether it be a YouTuber, whether it be some local publications or whatnot, and some of these different media heads from those areas. It happens everywhere. And if you think it doesn't, I
If
just
you're
think
if
that's
you're
wrong.
right on that, and I think it's a particular flavor of Midwest. I don't know, call it sadness, especially when it's winter. I feel like we get it worse. But let's jump back into Kwan specifically. So we're both in
Yeah.
agreement. He should have played the All Star game. Let's move over to the fact that he's one of 2 primary Guardians players, the other being Emmanuel Clase, to feature in just about every trade rumor out there. So are we selling Kwan? Break it down for me.
I don't think we're selling Kwan. uh Article came out, I believe it was from Bleacher Report. It was a push notification from Bleacher Report, but it was an athletic article saying the Guardians would move the outfielder, speaking about Steven Kwan, for a hitting prospect on the verge of majors or a non-arbitration eligible major league player. That was from the Athletic. I sent that to Eric, I think maybe Sunday, Monday, when we were teetering about maybe doing a Monday show this week, but we just didn't think there was enough news there. Monday show's coming back soon, don't you fret. ESPN then sent out a push notification yesterday from Buster Onley, which is a writer for ESPN. Steven Kwan is unlikely to be traded, was the exact headline. And there's a tweet that goes along with that, basically stating how he isn't a free agent for another 2.5 years. There's a lot of control for the clubhouse still. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I think the more this plays out, the sadder we're going to have to be, and the more realistic we're going to have to be about the fact that he's probably not going to sign an extension with the Cleveland Guardians. From what it sounds like to me, it sounds like what we have offered him is not his number, and he is not going to do the Jose Ramirez thing. What do you think, E?
Which, frankly, I don't blame him. He shouldn't do the Jose Ramirez
No.
thing. That's amazing from what he did, loving the city and showing that love. Quan very well may be a Dodger in a couple years, but I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be this year. They are interested in him, by the way. Um, if you know that's the case, getting rid of him next year might not be the worst play in the world to get a little value for him. I do think Clase could be on the move, but the guards are in a weird spot because they were sub 500 at the All Star break. They've since caught fire. They look like they know how to play baseball again. They have great young pitching. They have great hitting, which I didn't think I would say this year. And so, frankly, they should be buyers, not sellers at the deadline. And yet, you have the beast that is the Detroit Tigers ahead of you. So, you're playing for a wild card spot. I don't know what they're going to do. They've added power hitting in the past. Um, let's not pretend like they haven't. I know ownership gets a lot of flack, as they rightfully should, but they could very well be buyers. In this case, I think you're right. And I think the article you mentioned is right. Quan is not on the move, not yet. Will he be eventually? Probably, but certainly not this year.
Yeah, and I've said this before on the show, so I'm just going to reiterate the point that I've said for the last couple of weeks. I think they're going to be nothingers. I don't think they're going to buy. I don't think they're going to sell unless some great offer that they think is totally worth Emmanuel Clase comes across the table for this team. I think they're going to stay put. They're going to roll with this roster. They're going to play for that wild card spot. They're going to entertain us into September, maybe October. And then we'll rinse, wash, and repeat next year and figure out what we have. Chase the Lauder just got announced to have another 6 to 8 weeks out. Of course he did. That's the story of his career. I would like to see them move off of Santana. I've said that for weeks here on the show now. Free up some of that logjam, bring Kafis up, let Manzardo play every day, regardless of what you think of his defensive prowess or lack thereof. He should be an everyday bat for how high of a prospect he was touted to be coming into the majors. One quick gripe that I just remembered because I went to the game on Monday. Why in the hell, after Kyle Manzardo hits a home run, did we pinch hit David Fry for him?
It's a good question.
That just needed to get off of my chest in some sort of physical media form. What the hell are we doing? Stephen Vogt, I still have a lot of respect for you, but come on, man. Just let the kid play baseball. Forget about the platoons.
No, that's fair. I still think, as you said, he's a great manager, but yeah, it's questions like that are baffling, certainly. But listen, I mean, there should be nothing like negative right now about the Cleveland Guardians because they're doing their thing, man. And they're not doing it against bad ball clubs either. They're doing it against pretty decent clubs. They have a soft stretch of schedule here. If they can make a push to October, I think that's a hell of a win for Cleveland.
Oh, it's a hell of a win for sure, especially with how doom and gloom we were, 3 weeks ago on the show? Me and you were both crying up a storm. John was sitting here like, I don't know, man, just let it hang out for a second. And me and you were just salty. I was talking about how I'm ready for Brown season. I'm over the Guardians. I'm going to cancel my ballpark pass. And now I've paid my ballpark pass for August, but we won't talk about that. We won't bite my own words here on live social media on a Wednesday night.
I think I was more in the middle for the record. I do want to move on, but we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned, though, because we're talking Browns training camp. Speaking of, next. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to At the Office. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube and check us out on Instagram and TikTok as well. Make sure you get in on the action and get some At the Office gear, some merch. We haven't updated our store yet, but as you can see, I'm wearing some new designs. This is a tennis-inspired piece. We have a lot of cool stuff that we're going to launch. Hopefully, by the time our live show's coming up, not this weekend, but the following, I'm hoping that we can have some rough pieces in place. But always reach out to us if you want to see something, even if you want to see some kind of special merch that we're not selling, let me know. We can design that and get a custom piece for you. That is not a big deal. You can find that, though, at theofficecle.com. That's at theofficecle.com. Get your gear from your favorite show.
Real quick, Eric, do you want to tease the schedule for next week since it's a little bit wonky, or do you want to save that for a social post? We can do it however you feel.
No, let's tease it, or let's just say it. So next week, as Noah mentioned, our schedule is going to be a little weird. So we're going to do a live show together on Monday. By together, I mean Noah and I. I don't mean necessarily together, but we might be. I don't know. There will be no show on Wednesday night, though, barring something unbelievable happening, like us trading Shador or something crazy.
LeBron coming home, right?
LeBron coming home, right? Instead, we're going to have that live show on Saturday, which is at Hofbrau House, 2 p.m. Come out, have a drink, have some sausage.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. We'll still be there at 2, but good shout. Hofbrau House will be live. We're going to be doing shots. I'll probably get the date wrong because we'll be doing shots. Shout out to Hofbrau, though, and our contact there, Mary Kate, who is a friend of the show.
She is indeed a friend of the show. Let's keep it pushing, man.
Let's talk Browns.
Let's do it.
Because Browns training camp started today, and already there are plenty of storylines making their way out of Berea. we kicked off strong. There's a QB battle, as we know, that we're keeping our eyes on. I definitely want to hear your opinions on that. The pup list is something interesting to touch on. Some notables there that we expected. Obviously, we got the helmet reveal, which we already touched on. Big news still, though, in that Quinshon Judkins is one of just 2 NFL players, rookies specifically, that have not signed. The other being the Cincinnati Bengal, who is in contract disputes. Not great. Not sure what's going to happen there.
Send his ass back to A&M and make Tim Lyons mad in the chat. That's where I'm at.
Did I see correctly too that Njoku and Jordan Hicks were excused today for some reason?
Yeah, so Jordan Hicks and Njoku were excused for personal reasons, and when it's personal reasons, they don't have to say unless Njoku and Hicks wants them to say. So I don't know exactly what that's all about. I'm assuming it's nothing major. Normally, when it's personal reasons, it's something to do with family or something like that. So I'm not reading too far into that. The thing that I'm looking a little bit more into is the fact that Jerome Ford didn't practice today, and the fact that one Mike Hall Jr. went on the pup list with one Deshaun Watson. So, Eric, tell me, which one do you want me to dig into first? Mike Hall, Jerome Ford?
Let's stick into Jerome Ford because obviously we have a problem at running back right now.
Yeah, so it isn't seeming like it's anything crazy. He was there. It seemed like he was just off on the side of the practice because of a minor injury, whether that be a hamstring tweak, whether that be something like that. So Jerome Ford, I'm not super worried about. It was the first open day of camp. He could have went out there yesterday, cut wrong. Well,
Right.
they've been there since Monday, so he could have went out there Monday, cut wrong, and pulled his hamstring a little bit and was taking a little time off.
Yeah, you mentioned too that, or I mentioned rather, of course, Quinshon Judkins. I thought it was interesting that Stefanski did speak on the matter for the first time today. He didn't have a ton to say, but he did mention that they're taking the situation seriously, that they're not taking it lightly, rather. He said, in quote, "I would tell you again, this is something I take very seriously. We take very seriously. It's not something that we want to be a part of. We want to be shining the light on the good things that our guys are doing in this community. Having said that, I do know the league mandates a certain amount of education in all areas, certainly in this area, and we decide to go above and beyond that, and we will continue to do that. And if there's more ways that we can reach players in any area of education, we'll continue to look at that." I thought that was an interesting statement.
Yeah, it is an interesting statement because of all of the mishaps that have happened around the team, for lack of a better term. I don't still blame any of this on the front office or the coaching staff because there was nothing crazy about Judkins coming into the NFL. So why
Mhm.
would they think that that would be an issue? I mean, they were basically giving him the bell cow title already with how they were treating him. So I
Yeah.
think they're as shocked about this as we are as Buckeye Browns fans. Speaking of Buckeyes, with background of, behavioral issues, Mike Hall Jr. was put on the pup list. He obviously went down with a knee injury in the last game of the season last year against the Ravens. People kind of scratch their head a little bit. It was an MCL, so maybe he's just on the way back. There's a couple headlines I want to get into. I want to shout out Quincy Carrier. He did a video talking about pup, talking about the injury news this morning. Go check that video out. It's called Browns Training Camp Injury Updates. He was basically talking about what's going on with Mike Hall. Daniel Ofuse got a quote from Andrew Berry earlier in March saying that he would be ready by training camp, but it was kind of vague how it was said. It was a during training camp. Is it going to be when training camp starts? Who knows? Chris Esterling, however, inferred that both Watson and Hall would start the season on the pup list following this decision. Now, was he saying that again in kind of like, this is what typically happens? There's a lot of question marks going around with this, especially because the Cleveland Browns have a history of not doing the best with injuries, despite the fact that they fired most of their training staff last year. So there's a lot of questions going on here. That's something I'm going to be personally keeping my eye on is he on the bike? Is he around the team? Is he going to be practicing by this time next week? And this is just one of those things that we're talking about because it's May, or not May, it's July. I don't know what I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying. Do you think it's something to be worried about, or you think it's just one of those training camp headlines-y?
I think it's just one of those training camp headlines, honestly. I don't see us letting that become a cancer and fester even more than it already has. So I would be kind of shocked. Um, let's get into the quarterback battle, though.
Yeah, let's get into it
So
because there was a lot that went on. Go ahead, E.
there was a lot. So practice opened up with a rotation of, in order, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shador Sanders, throwing some drills. And then they went to 7-on-7 work where the veterans stayed together and the rookies stayed together on separate fields. Tell me what you're thinking, though. You had said earlier in the show that you think Shador will be starting by December. Other people keep saying, are we going to trade him? I don't think we are, for the record. But you hear that headline often. So what did you see, and where do you think that battle's shaping up specifically?
Yeah, so the battle is shaping up how we've always thought it. It's really between Flacco and Pickett right now, with the door kind of creaked open in terms of maybe one of these rookies, if they really impress, like a Dak did back in the day, or a Russell Wilson did, or a Brock Purdy did, what have you, to come in and take the job. So putting that to the side for a second, it's between Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. They want to see who they want to have be the week one starter when we play Cincinnati here on the lakefront.
It's
And
Flacco,
that's
by the way, period. I think he has a first round bye here, and there is no competition.
Well, and that's a great transition to go to the fact that Flacco took none of the 11 on 11 reps today. It was Pickett, Sanders, and Gabriel. Uh, Sanders on his first one out went 1 for 6. We won't talk about that as a Sanders fanboy, but I also have to be fair and say that there was a couple plays that you got to see a Gabriel, a kind of weird thrown deep ball where it was behind the receiver, but he was wide open, so he got a touchdown. Um, they all looked decent from all the clips that I can see. Obviously, we weren't there, so I can't report on it that way. But I still just see this shaking out the same way that I've been seeing it shake out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a battle for the number 2 position right now, and I think that's what we're seeing at camp. Joe Flacco will be the week 1 starter, barring something crazy like an ACL tear. He will be your starter. I think that's been pretty clear at this point. Like you said, though, Sanders had a really inconsistent day. He just didn't seem to be seeing the field that well. And he was late on a lot of the throws. That's obviously concerning. Concerning in the sense that there's so much hype surrounding, right? Not concerning in the sense that we picked him up so late. Like, if he doesn't work out, it's not that big of a deal. But I think from a media hype train, we want the kid to work out, and he's putting the work in. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to unfold. Did you see that play though by Gabriel today, who ran? He was doing 11 on 11 work, and he booted to the left with receivers running to the same direction, but he stops and throws back to his right to
I didn't
Gage. Did
see
you see
that.
that?
No, I didn't. Why
Uh,
do you ask?
it was the play of the day, I think, and he's showing more progression, in my opinion, than Shador at this point.
It's interesting. I don't know. It's way too early for me to stake a claim on any of that. Today was the first open practice. We were talking OTAs and mandatory minicamp before that. I'm really excited to get myself there and get potentially yourself there and watch some of this with my own eyes and get my own takes and my own thoughts. At the end of the day, practice is practice. We're going to continue to be able to break down this.
Practice,
Right. We'll
in
be
Allen
able to
Iverson's words.
Right. We'll be able to break down this situation a little bit better come these preseason games and what is going on. I still firmly plant my flag on the Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett
Mhm.
situation because we haven't heard enough from either of these guys, and it's still too early. Training camp with the whole team started 3 days ago. Get excited. Be happy football's back. Let's pump the brakes and just keep talking about what's going on. Let's not think Shador for QB1 or Gabriel for QB1 or whatever right now. Let's just pump the brakes
True.
a little bit.
By the way, did you see Luke Floria? Uh, anything with him today?
You're talking about the wide receiver from Kent, correct?
Undrafted rookie. Yep.
Yep. So the guy we covered a couple weeks ago. Yeah, there was a touchdown pass to him, I believe, from Shador that came out a couple days ago. That is the biggest highlight I've seen. Are you referring to something that I didn't see, or you were just asking out of pure curiosity?
No, he looked really good today. He impressed to the point where he was linking up with Dylan Gabriel pretty much all day in those 7-on-7s and made a few nice catches. So somebody that with a wide receiver room that lacks quite a bit of experience right now, he could find himself in the mix for a spot, in my opinion.
No, he could for sure, especially because of the lack of talent in the wide receiver room. I still keep my eyes out for a preseason darling and Michael Woods and Jamari Thrash as well, one of the wide receivers we took in last year's draft from Louisville. There's a lot of great storylines to pay attention to during Brown's training camp. That's why I wish we were on Hard Knocks this year, because not only as a fan of the Cleveland Browns, I think it would have been a great story with all the different media hoopla that's going on with the team right now. Hell, we could have been watching a Hard Knocks episode here in about 2 weeks about the guy falling in the lake. We could go right back to that.
I'm with you. I wish we could. Let me ask you one more thing regarding training camp.
For sure.
And that revolves around, you tell me, of all the quotes today that came out from training camp, which player had the most delusional quote?
It was Myles Garrett talking about us going to the Super Bowl this year. And I didn't even know
Sure
that
was.
quote was a verbatim. I got the push notification when I was playing my Switch earlier today. And I was like, Super Bowl Browns, nah, I'm going to put my watch back down and pick up the controller again.
I will say I'm impressed that you knew that answer. But yes, he had this to say. He said, I expect to get to the Super Bowl. That's our expectation every year. I expect to run back to Defensive Player of the Year. So keeping both of those things in mind, I have to be the very best player I can be every single day, whether we're practicing or playing. As soon as I step in the building, I have to be the best version of myself and the best leader I can possibly be. Couple things to unpack here, because I said delusional. I don't think you can say anything else, honestly. I'm giving him grief, but of course you're going to have lofty expectations. I will say, though, that he hits upon two things. First of all, yeah, Tim, money will do that to you. It changes your opinion real quick. You want to change my opinion on literally anything, throw $100 million at me. I'll give you whatever opinion you want. But there's twofold from this quote that I want to talk about. The first is the fact that the expectations for the Cleveland Browns are incredibly low. Take what Miles said with a grain of salt. Nobody expects this team to do very well this year. Putting them under 3 wins in some cases. That one guy, I think for 92-3, had them at 1 win, which is frankly ridiculous in my opinion. I think the NFL's sleeping on the Browns a little bit.
You've been on this train of the NFL is sleeping on the Browns a little bit, and I'm just of the train of they're going to be like kind of mid. We got to figure out what's going on with the quarterback situation. Having 4 separate quarterbacks prior to what happened in seasons past for the Browns does not typically work out well for a team. And I think we're going to see
what else there's 4 of, Noah?
What?
Quarters. Let's just throw 1 in each quarter.
That's
I'm being facetious, obviously, but
I was gonna say, have you ever heard if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks? That's exactly where I'm at right now. Do I think they're gonna overperform the expectation of like 3, 4, 5 wins? Probably, but I don't think they're gonna be much higher than that at the same time. I've been in the 6 to 8 win camp since, I don't know, even before the draft, and now with the draft, I'm the same exact place. Honestly, I'm in the same exact place.
Every single talking head has them barely winning any games. I'm going to make a bold statement here. I want you to mark down on July 23rd at approximately 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. I think they'll be pushing for a wild card spot. I know that's crazy.
So you're going to start the top. Wait. I'll let you finish your take in a second. You were going to start the topic with delusion and coming at Myles Garrett, a player on the team who is supposed to say we're competing for a Super Bowl, and end the segment, this portion of the segment, I should say, with The Browns are going to the wild card, and their over-unders at like 4 wins right now.
Well, I think they'll lose that wild card game, so Super Bowl still is delusional. But yeah, listen, I think we have an elite defense. I think that the new offensive coordinator is going to pan out really well. I'm just throwing it out there. You'll call me a genius if this is the case. If it's not, then you know what? I made another bad opinion. That's no big deal. But you know what? I'm just gonna throw it out there. I put my Tim. You're gonna owe me dumplings anyway. I forget what our bet is, but I wrote it down.
It was like over 5 wins or something like that. It was something minuscule in your mind and a mountain
Yeah.
in most other people's minds. Listen, I've been saying this since you've been on the Browns hype train, I guess you could call it, that I hope you're right, but I don't think you're right, man.
So I said there were two parts of that statement, though. That was the first part. The second part has to do with leadership. I don't think he's not the type that just has empty words, in my experience anyway. I think he is putting the team on his shoulders a little bit, and I welcome it. I know it was thrown out there by the Haslams that he should be doing that. We had those conversations whether or not he should be a leader. John obviously highly disagrees, but it looks like he is taking that mantle up a little bit and trying to be the example in that locker room.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's right. He doesn't have to be a leader. I'm kind of in the in between of that. I don't think he's ever shown to be a leader, but if he's a leader this year, I think that's great, especially with the amount of talent that he has.
Yeah. All right. I want to get off Browns because we actually do have quite a few more topics tonight. I want to talk about our other favorite football team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We haven't talked a lot of Ohio State this summer, and I thought a fun little debate could be had surrounding how we rank our 3 most recent coaches. Ryan Day is obviously coming off a historic run with the first ever expanded college football playoff national championship. It begs the question, where does he rank in comparison to the 2 greats before him? Speaking, of course, of Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel. So let's get into it. I want to start by breaking down some of their coaching stats and what that looks like. So, Mr. Producer, thank you. All right. That might be a little hard to see for you because it's a little hard to see for me, and I'm not that old. Tim, I'm sorry. You're probably struggling. Listen, let's start with Tress. Tress came in and took over at a time where he was sorely needed. He went 94-22. He had a bowl record of 6-4. He beat that team up north 9 times. He was 9-1 against them. Had 6 Big Ten championships, and of course 1 national championship.
Do you need me to read these stats, man? Because I can see it perfectly fine.
I have it on a small screen. I don't because I pulled up the graphic now.
No, you're good. I'm just messing with you anyway.
One thing to say about his coaching record real quick is that does not include 12 vacated wins in the season where he went. It was 12-1, right? Noah?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I said it did not include the season where he went. It was 12-1, right? Where they vacated his last season.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a 81% win percentage. It's pretty solid. Correct. Moving on to Urban Meyer. Urban had a record of 83-9. That's a 90% win record. He was 4-2 in bowl games. Obviously, those 2 losses both coming to Clemson, which were pretty hard to stomach. But he was 7-0 against that team up north. 3 Big Ten championships and 1 national championship, which was the first ever college football playoff national championship. Another historic run. He took on an Alabama team that expected to dominate, beat them, and he took on an Oregon team that was expected to dominate and beat them as well. And now we have Ryan Day. Normally he wouldn't be in this conversation, but as mentioned, he does have a natty now. He's 70-10 at Ohio State. That puts him at an 87, almost 88% win percentage. He's 6-4 in bowl games, 1-4 against the team up north. They did cancel the COVID season, by the way, after we spanked them in 2019, should be noted. He has 2 Big Ten championships under his belt and 1 national championship. Also, the thing about Ryan Day, that bowl record being the same as Tressel, it is a little disingenuous just from the fact that he was 6-4. That includes this run, of which he got several wins, 4 wins, to kind of boost that record. One other note is that that does include 3 wins in his record when he was interim coach for Urban Meyer. All right, let's jump into it. How do you rank these 3 coaches and why?
Yeah, it's pretty simple breakdown for me right now. It's Urban 1, Tressel 2, Ryan Day 3. Ryan Day has every opportunity to continue to climb that leaderboard despite his Michigan record of being 1-4. He's won a Big Ten championship. He's won a national championship. As many as the aforementioned 2 who are considered Buckeye coaching legends, in my opinion. Urban Meyer is number 1 because of his win percentage, because of the quality of recruits that we had here, the quality of players that we've had here. Not that that isn't anything that ever changes with Ohio State, but you see it. There was a dip, and then Urban Meyer became the head coach, and that was the re-explosion of the Ohio State Buckeyes. The 2 before Ryan Day have their own controversies for their own reasons, whether that be off the field for Urban Meyer or some things with a fellow coach that was on his roster, Tressel, and some of the back deal workings for tattoos and stuff that he might have been aware of. Tressel deserves number 2. It's really close run, in my opinion. I favor Urban Meyer a little selfishly as well because he went to my high school alma mater. But it goes 1 Urban Meyer, 2 Jim Tressel, 3 Ryan Day. But Ryan Day stays for another 10 years, wins another national championship, and flips that team up north record. He deserves to be number 1, even if people don't feel like it right now. What do you think, E?
Yeah, I don't completely disagree. My take's a little different, but I agree with what you're saying about Ryan Day. He can catapult himself to number 1. I would say this: he better damn well win more than 1 national championship in the next 10 years. I know that sounds crazy, but you're at the Ohio State University. We talk about it all the time. There are 3 primary goals: beat Michigan, win a Big Ten championship, and compete and win a national championship. I put Tressel at number 1. I flip him and Urban for a couple reasons. The first is that he is the catalyst that turned this entire program around. Without Tressel, there is no Urban, there is no Day, there is no following national championships. He came in a time when we did not beat Michigan at all. John Cooper was a decent head coach, but he couldn't win against Michigan, and we got rid of him. Tressel comes in, and one of the first things he says is, it's X number of days until we go to that team up north. That is the game. He made the rivalry what it is to go 9-1, followed by 7-0 by Urban. I mean, that is a stretch that will probably never happen again on either side. Obviously, Michigan has won the last 4 straight. I think Ryan Day is a very good coach. I'll touch on Urban in a second. I think Day is a really good coach. Sometimes he tries to overcoach, and that's my biggest issue with him. Take the Michigan game this year. He has a stud quarterback that's been lighting it up. Arguably was probably concussed after that first quarter, but whatever. Set that aside for a second. We decide to come out in the second half and run into the teeth of their defense. If Michigan had one good thing going for them, it's that defensive line, and he wanted to make a point and just run right into it. I don't get it to this day. I don't get that play calling. It makes 0 sense to me. Had he won, had he been, let's just say he's 5-0 against Michigan, he's probably at least number 2 right now, right?
Yeah,
he's up there. I'll say that.
Yeah, you could argue it because it also flips his OSU record too, for sure, or his overall record, right. I should say. Yeah,
the percentage goes up after that. The problem with Tressel, obviously, is that he played Tressel ball. It worked really well in 2002. It did not work in 2007. As we know, the speed of the SEC, I still think they hang their hats on that, but I remember when we played, and God, who knows if you even remember this game, but we were 1-2 against Michigan to end the year, and we beat them to then go on to the national championship. And there was some question of whether or not they would put Michigan in that national championship against us. And I remember thinking, I don't want Michigan again. It was a close game. It was like 56-49 or something like that.
Yeah.
A game of the century kind of game. And I remember thinking, I don't want them again. To get a second crack at it, it's hard to beat a team twice, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Instead, we go down, we play a Florida team coached by Urban Meyer that waxes us. I mean, wax. The funny thing, we run the kickoff back. Ted Ginn Jr. runs it back for a touchdown to start the game. Going nuts. He gets hurt in the celebration, but we could not have started better. They then proceed to take us to the woodshed like we did to Tennessee this year. So Tressel ball got a little boring, and college football really moved on from that style of play. That's the knock on him. Getting to Urban real quick, and sorry, I know I'm going on a while. I would argue, though, that Urban had his own deficiencies. He had those weird games where he'd get in that same weird play calling, hands on his knees, like everything's going wrong and I don't know how to stop it. And the clunkers would be against Michigan State. I think he lost to Purdue one year. They were weird losses that he shouldn't have had. That second year after we won the national championship, that was a better team, in my opinion. We should have ran it back. We left that on the table because we lost to Michigan State. So none of the three are perfect, but I put it as Tressel, Urban, followed by Day. But I think Day will capture number one. I do see multiple national championships in his future, and recruiting has been just fine with him, by the way.
No, I agree. I wasn't using the recruiting thing for Urban as a knock on either of them. I just think of their recruits very highly in that time period, maybe because Denzel Ward was a Brown and whatnot. Regardless, I think your argument makes total sense because you need the person who walked, who ran, but who's remembered better, the person who was the best at it or the person who invented it? Well, that's up for you to decide, right?
I guess it depends. We still talk about Edison, bringing electricity, but we don't talk about GE all that much making a new light bulb.
Correct. It just depends on the
That's a bad
situation.
example.
I got your example though, and I think the people got your example. So don't beat yourself up. I'm being nice. I don't know why I'm feeling nice to you right now.
I know, it's
Normally we
weird.
want to box on the show. I think your take makes perfect sense, but I still am partial to Urban because of how good those teams were, his winning percentage and whatnot. Yes, he had some of those weird games where you'd go lose to like Virginia Tech or something like that, or Purdue when they're 2-11. But
Tim's comment I'm laughing at right now. Didn't Urban date your aunt or mom? No.
no, he bullied my mom, in fact, but I won't put that one out there. And bullied is a strong term as well. He was friends with my uncles, so they would mess with the little sister, as you do. He was not a bully in high school. Don't quote me on that. That being said, though, I like your take. I think it makes sense, but I'm still going to disagree and stand firm on my Urban side. We could go back and forth with this kind of thing, but I don't think either of us are going to move. I think it has to do a little bit with childhood and such, too. You grew up heavier in the Tressel side. I grew up heavier in the Urban Meyer side of things, and now we're both experiencing Ryan Day and kind of the same level-headed mindset. So I think that plays a part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because all three national championships in our lifetime, and it is ours because you were just alive for that first one. They were all kind of historic in the sense that nobody expected it. The very first one with not Ohio State's first one, obviously. There's a lot. The first one with Tressel, we beat a Miami team that was unbeatable. It was no one expected us to beat the Hurricanes. And then the second one, obviously, we beat Alabama, we beat Oregon. This third one, I'll take no opportunity not to say we kicked the ever-loving shit out of Tennessee before beating Oregon, Texas, and Notre Dame in that order. That's a hell of a
Still
run.
singing Rocky Top to this day, crying a
John,
little bit.
I can hear it. He's singing it now from the Outer Banks or wherever he is on this vacation. which is bullshit. He had no faith in our boys. We all had faith.
None.
But what do you think moving forward this season, real quick? We have a quarterback battle underway. I made the comment that I think it's going to be incredibly hard for college football teams to repeat. The nature of the playoff and what's going to happen makes it nigh impossible. But if any team were to repeat, I think it's Ohio State this year. What are your thoughts?
I think it's no. I want to say I believe that Ohio State will repeat, but with a new quarterback in, with some of the other stuff that's going on, a lot of people graduating or moving on. We paid for a lot of those prospects. Judkins, one of them, to come in and play for us last year. I think this team is still going to be really good. I think this team is going to be really exciting. I think this team is a playoff team through and through. Jeremiah Smith is an absolute dog, but I don't know if I can really hang my hat and be that type of fan that, us Ohio State Buckeyes fans get and saying we're going to repeat and all that. There's too many question marks, and the new college football playoff format makes it so hard to do so.
100%. Tim, who's your QB? We don't know.
It's probably
It's
saying, but
between saying St. Clair and Lincoln Kleinholtz, something like that. He is the returning veteran, if you will. So I don't want it to be him, for the record. A lot will be told in that Texas game, which is week 1, which is insane. I'll actually be in the Outer Banks. We're getting down there early just so we can watch that game somewhere. That'll tell us a lot. But I think it's telling that Ohio State players have returned. And I don't just mean Jeremiah Smith, but in this world where anyone can go take a payday, almost everybody has stayed loyal to Ohio State. I think that speaks to the tightness of this family. And I don't know. It'll be interesting.
it'll be interesting for sure.
All right. One last thing that I want to touch on tonight, and that is the Cavs. Because Victor Oladipo is back, baby. Not quite yet. Hold your horses. But he did work out for a bunch of NBA execs in Las Vegas, including execs from the Cavs. Now, he hasn't played in some time. I think he only played 2 games in 2023. He has a history of injury. But, Noah, is this a player that you're buying for vet minimum?
For vet minimum, sure, why not? He was an absolute dog at one time in his career. He was one of those nasty, filthy, get into it, kind of get grimy play, get good shots up. Some of the stuff that we've talked about for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we're talking about the last roster spot on this team. We're not talking about a guy who's coming in and we're expecting to be a role player. We are talking about the Tristan Thompson role. And for the Tristan Thompson role, I don't mind it. Now, that also bars what his physicals look like, what his everything else that was going on at this workout. There was not a named executive that was there for the Cavs. It was one of the top execs in Cavs brass that made it. But, I mean, if we're giving guys a shot, he could be a boomer bust kind of guy that you add. And then if he isn't working out, you can just cut him and get someone else towards the deadline that gets cut as well. It's not the be all end all. I don't hate it. Be upset, I guess, is my take. What's your take, man?
Yeah, I mean, I somewhat agree with you because that's a logical take. But at the same time, there's nobody out there that we could sign that's going to be more productive for us. Unless he's absolutely balling out and impressing in these workouts. There's a reason he hasn't played in a couple years. That's a lot of time off from professional sports. We saw it with Deshaun Watson. I know that's different sport. But taking time off in your prime, yeah, it worked for Jordan. It doesn't work for a lot of people, and he's not in his prime. That's the thing. I should note that ownership, namely Dan Gilbert, has always been very high on Victor Oladipo. He's disappointed that he didn't draft him. He's wanted him for a long time. He tried to make it happen. I think if we do sign him, vet minimum or otherwise, it's coming from the top more than anything else.
I don't know if it's coming from the top per se, and even if it is coming from the top and it's a Dan decision, I always firmly believe Dan is one of the owners that I'm okay with meddling a little bit, if he sees what's right. Just
Comic
because,
Sans included.
okay, well that was a low light, but then there was the highlight of anything that happened past that, including LeBron coming home and the rebuild of the roster that we have today. So, do I love it? No. Do I hate it? No. Do I think it makes sense? Potentially. There's so many moving parts here. You could also make the argument, and maybe this is where you stand, where you just bring Tristan Thompson back for that role. He was the unk in the locker room last year, talking shit on the bench, chopping it up with the boys, and just, having a good old time. And we could go back to talking about Tristan Thompson minutes and how many times he got in the game, and that's how bad you beat a team.
If there's one caveat that I want to add there, I'd love to bring back Tristan, but Kenny, please play him in physical games. He is a presence that could have been used against Indiana, for example, where we need a guy to go in and give a rough foul. I just felt like he was sitting sometimes when he could have
See,
been a bit of an enforcer for us, and we needed
I don't
that.
know if I agree with that anymore because the enforcer role in the NBA is like physically dead. Like most teams don't do that anymore. I'm not saying that we can't, but there's a reason that the coach of the year is keeping a guy on the bench, and I'm going to side with the coach of the year over any type of secondary opinion that there is there.
Listen, I'm not giving any hate towards Kenny, but the coach of the year got his ass spanked on national television by a team that everyone thought, yeah, they look great, but should not have been putting us to the woodshed like they did. So I don't
But
know. Maybe
context
listen
is
to me a
key
little
here
bit.
too, Eric. I mean, they made it to the NBA Finals, and who knows what happens if Halliburton doesn't get hurt. We don't have to open that can of worms
Yeah, I'm
because we're
not
getting
saying
late
that
in the show.
TT
But
is the solving of that series. I'm just saying, um, I don't know. Maybe he goes in and commits a hard foul and gets the crowd going, and it's a little different. All right, Noah, it is getting late. So is there anything else you want to add?
no, man, I really appreciate everybody coming in, enjoying the show, chopping it up with us in the comments, doing all that. Everybody stay up, stay blessed. Peace. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us at The Office, sponsored by D&D Meadery. Don't forget to subscribe or hit that download button if you're listening to the audio-only version of our show, and check us out on all of our socials, which are at The Office CLE, the @ symbol The Office CLE. The debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.